welcome back to erbs class, man. For 5 more minutes of math, I got some more geometry for you, specifically transformations. Now, we're going to talk about the first type of transformation right now. Translations, of course. Now, if you remember from the other videos, translation is the idea that we can just take this triangle or whatever shape it is and just move it or slide it to another place on this graph. Now, you might see translations written in a couple of different ways. It might look like this. Yep, just like that. When you're translating in geometry class, you're going to see it asked one of these two ways. So what this means is I'm taking an original point and I'm changing it by moving it in the X and Y direction using these two values. There are going to be a couple of numbers right here. I'm going to put a couple in there in a second. Or you might be asked to translate through a vector. Now, if you've seen the videos of mine on vectors, you'll know that vectors give movement, right? Let me put some numbers in here. We'll talk about it. Good. So these numbers tell you which direction and how much to move your original shape. Yeah. Remember, X is left to right. And if I'm moving +5 in X direction, doesn't that mean I'm moving to the right 5 spaces? Yeah. And if my Y is up and down and I'm moving -2, wouldn't that mean I'm moving down 2? That's exactly right. Now, this vector notation means exactly the same thing. Notice the different parentheses. These pointed parentheses mean movement, mean vector. Yeah. So the first number is still the X movement, +5, right 5. The second number is still the Y movement, -2, down 2. So to move this shape that way, I'm going to take each and every point and move them. Right 5, down 2. Just like this. Yeah, so I started with 1 point just so we can get a hang of this. I move to the right 5 spaces. And then I move down 2. And that gives me my new B or B prime. So what I'm going to do now is do exactly the same thing with the other 2 points. Like this. Yes! Just like that. So now if I move all of the points of this triangle, right 5 and down 2, didn't I move the entire triangle, right 5 and down 2? Yeah! And so now my triangle is translated. Now, you can do this on a graph, but you don't always need a graph. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, now, what if I knew the coordinates of my original C point, right? And I wanted to translate that point this way without using a graph. I could take these coordinates and plug them in right here. Yeah, so what I'm saying is, if my original C was -2, and I put that right here, what's -2 plus 5? 3, exactly right. And now if I take this 2 and plug it in for my Y, what's 2 minus 2? 0, yeah. So my original point gets changed this way. All you have to do is take these numbers and add them to the original to get your new point. My new point C prime is definitely at 3, 0, yes. And that's translations, right? Now remember, I can move it right, I can move it left, I can move it up, I can move it down, and you get all of that information from those 2 numbers right there. Yeah, man, I hope this helps. Come on back so we can talk about reflections.